Welcome to the sportiest stream, everybody. Welcome to Splash Series action. As joining me, and now leaving me is Rilla. I think Rilla, you okay there, Rilla? I know you had to rush to get here in time. As soon as I go here, he's like, "Nah, you know what? I've had a second thoughts on this. I don't want to be here
It's
anymore."
how to keep things interesting. Yes.
Rilla's here with me for Rocket League Splash Series matchups here in the Claim to Fame Entertainment Surge Cup. So welcome in, Rilla. It is Starlight versus Nyx Dominion here. Best of 5 matchup, and with both these teams, their season rests on matches like these. It's the second to last match of the season. For Starlight, they need to win their last 2 matches to have a chance at making that final bracket. For Nyx Dominion, they're right on the edge of not qualifying. They're right on the edge. They're right now in that top 12. But if they lose here, they might fall out of it. So every win for these teams matters. For Starlight, if their season relies on it. For Nyx Dominion, their playoff chances would definitely benefit with it.
Yeah, I've seen Starlight play quite a few times. I've actually casted some of their matches there. This level of Rocket League is always fun to watch. These guys, I never count out because I've seen them put some pretty sick plays together. It's just going to be how the dynamics of the gameplay, right? How their challengers put up the defense.
Yeah, it is absolutely going to be the way about how they challenge, how they kind of get things set up here. I've seen Starlight a couple of times this season. Their record right now is 1-4. Nyx Dominion are at 3-2, but Nyx Dominion have a couple players I recognize. Both Geo, Trickter, and DC Stall. I've seen all of those players. They're all pretty solid. So Nyx Dominion themselves, no surprise with the 3-2. I think that's a reasonable placement for them, but it's going to be a tough run for both these teams. It's going to be a tough part of it because, again, for Starlight, their season relies on this. They lose, they don't have a chance coming back anymore. For Nyx Dominion, if they lose, they might fall out of that top 12. So these teams, these wins at the end of the season, these matches really do get intense, really do get quite difficult because, I mean, we know how important these last games are for these teams because they know kind of what they're relying on, what they need to do. And what these teams need to do is they need to win because in the position they're at, they really have not given themselves much of any leeway to getting into that final bracket.
Yeah, I mean, it's all on the line here, man. It's going to see how they handle the stress of keeping their playoffs alive.
He said as well here, so it is a matchup, going to be an important matchup, at the very least here, as we'll hopefully get things underway shortly. Both these teams already told me they're here, so good start. As I mean, Rilla, you've seen a good amount of your teams from your org compete in events like these, and talk to me what it's like, kind of being a team fighting from behind, like Starlight is, knowing that you have to win and that you don't really have many other options here, that you've kind of ran out of options, ran out of second chances. What does that do to a team overall like Starlight's, and knowing that at this point in their season, they don't really have a safety rope, they just have to win their matches?
Yeah, it's interesting to see how every team kind of handles that, and even the individual players. I've seen some teams where, that they are like the wild card, right? They come into playoffs, they're bottom seed, and they fight like hell, and that stress is what drives their victories, man. And there's other teams that just can't handle it. So, like I said, I've seen these guys play. I think that they can pull it together. It's just going to have to keep their composure, depending on how aggressive the other team is. I haven't seen Knicks play. I don't know, are the demo heavy? What's their aggression level? And some of that can really throw some people off. So I think if they keep their composure, they definitely got a shot. And that's the mental game of Rocket League, man. It's people that know this game know why it's so addicting is because it plays like a sport in your brain, and there's nothing else like it.
That is, and you mentioned about Nyx Dominion, who's going to step up for them. If I had my money on one of the players on their team that really focus on, it's going to be Geo. Not because he's the flashiest, although he used to be known for being quite flashy. Back when he was on Incorrect White, before that it was FC Barcelona. He's been on a couple very incredible teams. Even after that, he was on 10X as well, a team that was very successful for a short amount of time. Geo's going to be an interesting player to look out for because he's kind of transitioned, at least recently, he's transitioned more into a passive type, more of a facilitator type of role. So expect to see a lot of that from him. And you mentioned, is he demo heavy? Geo is. He's quite demo heavy. So if he does decide to go for a ton of demos, you will notice it. He's pretty good at that. That's something that he was very good at back on 10X. And although he's obviously not on 10X anymore, this is very different than 10X. We'll have to see how he performs here with the players that he has. But you said it, Nyx Dominion 3-2. Geo, I think, is going to be a really interesting player to look out for. Not because he might be the one scoring all the goals, but because he's going to really allow this team to play aggressive or to play back. He's going to be the one that allows his teammates to move around him. For Starlight, this is a roster of a ton of different people. Is there one player on this roster? I mean, you've seen them a good amount of times, Rilla. The one player on Starlight that you think needs to step up and needs to perform, especially with the pressure being on?
You know, that's a really good question. I know Lep a little bit, and he's kind of the team captain. I think he needs to kind of play that leader role and push these guys to really put forth that effort and keep them calm. And those demos, man, that's one thing that we talk about with our teams is, if you guys are struggling, if you're behind, start looking at demo and bump plays. The mental game that plays on your competition is heavy. For me personally, if I'm getting bumped and demoed, it completely tilts me, and it takes me a while to kind of get past it, and that can really change the whole dynamic of a series, not just a game.
You mentioned, I think Lep is the player that I was going to mention as well, but for a whole different reason. Not because I think he's a team leader necessarily, and not even just because he plays a very similar role to Gio, but because Lepet has a history of being inconsistent, and especially when the pressure's on, that inconsistency really hurts him. He needs to be consistent. That's one of his biggest issues that I've always mentioned, and that I've always like. I like Lepet. I've seen him so many times. One of his biggest issues is that he's not consistent, and in matches like these, I've seen so many times when the pressure's on that Lepet, he just falls apart. He seems to be a player that doesn't do well under pressure. And that's a big issue for Lepet because his team is now under pressure. They need to now win 2 matches straight. They need to win their last 2 matches to even have a chance in making top 12. Nyx Dominion is going to be a tough matchup. Later on, they'll have to play against KCG Anima's Minions, another team that's kind of in the middle of that grouping. So it's not like it's impossible. It's very doable. For Starlight, the end of their season is one where they got to punch above their weight class, but it's very doable. These are teams they can absolutely beat if they play at their strongest, but come down to Lepid, because when he plays well, he really does raise the entirety of his team's level. But if he falls apart, my goodness, I have seen him completely fall apart under pressure, and for Lepid, he's gonna be to look out for, because I know the players around him are generally quite consistent. And you talk about players like Horizon, like CJ, they've been like Johnny, like Rissaso, and they've all been teammates for a very long time. Any of those players can jump in and probably be quite consistent. But for Starlight, Lepid needs to be consistent, and even not just Lepid, but I also need to see Starlight play more aggressive. This is a team that has a history of being quite passive, and they like to play passively. Against Geo, that's not going to work, because if Nyx Dominion, if Geo and Trickter and GC Stall play aggressive, as I know all those players can, Starlight is going to have a team that's going to perfectly counter them. They can't allow themselves to be passive, because that plays right into what Nyx wants them to do.
Yeah, man, I love rooting for the underdog, man, so let's see if Lepid can hold it together. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, and right now we'll see if Starlight can hold it together, because right now they don't actually have all 3 players on their roster available right now. So we'll give them a little bit of time here. It seems like they've had a disconnect issue. As actually, they're not the only ones. Apparently, both teams don't have a full roster available. So we'll give them a little bit more time. These players should be here any moment. But yeah, so both teams having some tech issues, it sounds like. So that's what we're doing. We're just waiting for both these teams to show up. But Starlight and Nyx Dominion, the season really does come down to 2 weeks of matches for Nyx Dominion. I mean, I mentioned already what Starlight have to do for Nyx Dominion. Next week, they play end-to-end Legion, which will be quite not only their last match of the season, but I believe Legion themselves, not a very good team. Legion are also fighting in the same position that Starlight is. So for Nyx Dominion, the end of the season for them, looking pretty hopeful. This is a team that is expected to be in the top 12, but just the fact of the matter is their last 2 weeks are matches they're expected to win. But again, they need to perform. They need to actually win these matches to get themselves there. And I mean, it is definitely possible for them to fall apart. As we do get we have gotten a message from Nyx Dominion who's showing up. It's Geo, Trickter, and Los Monstruos. So their sub listed on their roster showing up tonight here in Los Monstruos. I don't know if he actually is their sub or if he isn't, but that's the player they have here. As for Starlight, it is Horizon, Lepid, and Zekrom, aka CJ, I believe. Yeah, that's CJ. So who goes by Zekrom in the game. So you'll hear me say CJ for this one, but what you'll also be hearing me say is, let's get this match going. We've already waited long enough for this one. So, best of 5 here. This is week 6 of 7. And for Starlight, they lose, and I think their season's over. For Nyx Dominion, they're trying to hold that top 12 position. For both these teams, and not teams that have led in the Surge Cup here, sponsored by Claim to Fame Entertainment, but they're teams that need to perform now in the last couple weeks here in the Rocket League Splash Series, again, sponsored by Claim to Fame Entertainment, Global Esports, Cracked Gaming, as well as Next to New Esports. So let's get things going here. Starlight on the blue, Nyx Dominion on the orange, and a best of 5 here tonight to determine if Starlight's season will have a chance of going to playoffs in week 7, or if Nyx Dominion themselves will need to play for that spot next week as well. Los Monstruos trying to get things started. Flip reset. Horizon waiting back. And again for Starlight, the one thing I want to see is if they're going to play this defensively, if they're going to play passively or not. Because if they don't, that plays into what Nyx Dominion and specifically what I've seen Geo do in the past play well against.
Yeah, next we're missing this pass here, trying to get back, rotating out. Horizon passing up to Trickster. Trickster looking for a pass out the corner, coming to the center. Can't quite convert that into a shot opportunity. And we're seeing, oh man, this just open net. That 50 did not work out for Starlight. And Nyx Geo gets on the board first. Or Nyx Dominion, excuse me.
And it will be Geo as well who gets that first major touch. And I said it, he's not much of a goal scorer, but he is mechanical. And you can see there, he's really doing well to keep that pace off the sidewall. It's so tough to do that, because when you're moving that sidewall, your momentum stops almost immediately. So, Geo, already playing aggressively. That's not a surprise to me. He's a player that likes to play aggressive, likes to play offense. So, expect to see more out of him as now infield play gets that bump on CJ as Los Monstros comes in. And I said it, Geo, he's known for his bumps. He hasn't changed since I last saw him as he takes out CJ and lets Los Monstros come in for the core.
Man, he's chasing that ball. Looked like he was going for an aggressive attack on the ball. Takes the bump instead, and just a beautiful decision. Really works out.
Yeah, but here goes CJ off the kickoff. An answer from Starlight. CJ got removed, could not defend the last goal from Nyx Dominion, but off the kickoff. And it will be his as Trickster. He played a very aggressive kickoff there, could not get the ball. And it is CJ, one back for Starlight, their first of the night.
They needed that to stop a little momentum for Nyx and keep the faith alive, keep the hope alive. This is almost another goal off a kickoff. Lepid now time to take control, get around one defender. Monstrous there, getting a little bit of a dunk. Horizon not quite in the right position for a shot and cleared back to the blue side of the pitch.
Victor up high. Los Monstros trying to get a piece of CJ as Geo jumped in, and Nyx Dominion, as expected, playing extremely aggressively. Starlight, again, they're known to be passive. Tonight is not a night that they can play that way. They have to play aggressive here against Nyx as Los Monstros. Infield play. Horizon actually beats Trickster for that one, and Geo will have a tough time racing to it. Lepid couldn't reach it. And Geo will clear it out as CJ off the sidewall will look midfield for Lepid mode, and that's a great chance. Nobody back, and Starlight's got a second.
Man, tying the game up. What a momentum swing. I mean, they had to fight for this one. They were back on their heels a little bit, as you said, a little passive at times, but just the right touch coming from midfield by Lepid, getting that tie game.
And it will be another one in here as tied at 2 each now. The early lead for Nyx Dominion will be erased by some great outlet plays from Starlights. And there we go again, Los Monstros. Back pass, trying to bait in a couple players from Starlight, but nobody committed. And, well, without boost, he has to go back here as Geo loses that Jones to CJ. To go here for Nyx Dominion, so double commits will mean that their offense will not be able to progress any further. And Starlight will at least eventually will take possession here as CJ Lepid trying to get the bump on Los Monstros as infield play. Lepid for another. Horizon to walk on in, but Los Monstros tanking some challenges, and Nyx Dominion will break out eventually here, but Starlight turning up the heat, turning up the pressure, and also turning up that aggression. A lot of bumps from them early on. For being a team that needs to play aggressively, I would say this is a pretty good start for them.
Yeah, maybe they heard some of that talk before the match started and they decided to take some advice. I mean, they really have come out. Took them a minute to warm up, but here, this aggression, as you're saying, Sporty, is really, really paying off. They're keeping this ball on Dominion's side of the pitch quite a bit. Zekrom now looking for a pass down off the sidewall, into the corner, off the backboard. Not able to convert that, but Horizon's in the right spot. Gets that shot! My goodness, taking the lead. 3 straight goals for Starlight.
Yeah, it's a giveaway touch from Geo too. That's a play where you just cannot let the ball be in front of your nets. And Geo, a pass to Horizon, that's the wrong player to go to. And Geo knew immediately that was not the right touch. Nyx Dominion, a gift to Horizon, and from that range, he's not missing. So now Nyx Dominion need to come back from what at this point is now 1 goal down. Starlight kind of turned up the heat, have played more aggressively. And against Nyx Dominion, that aggression's working as CJ. Maybe another chance from the sidewall. Trickster gets the bump, but will be left for Los Monstros. As Nyx Dominion, another challenge. Lepid jumps in as, Trickster's with this one. It's, oh my god, everybody committing here for Nyx Dominion, but they'll get the ball out for at least for a little bit. As another play to the back wall. Missed there, but Trickster will be for it. And Nyx Dominion, it is very shaky right now on defense, but at least they're not giving up another goal. At least they're keeping this game close.
Yeah, as close as they can. A couple of mistakes, man, really almost giving the game to Starlight as they try to keep this aggression or at least possession alive, getting cleared out the midfield by CJ Leopard, trying to continue this down. This net is open. Horizon's trying to make a run for it. Can't get there. Getting bumped off the ball is monstrous. And a pass great here by Trickster, tying the game again. Fantastic passing play.
And I love this from Nyx Dominion. Gio again at the center of the offense, and he'll find that pass, he'll find his teammates. That's what I said Gio's been doing more of recently. He's more of that facilitator, where he allows his teammates to follow up around him. Such a smart player. I remember seeing him so many times, and well, he's a bit of a goofball in reality. He's a very intelligent player when it comes to how he plays this game, and through all the teams he's been on, he's always been a player that has wanted to be in the center of the offense, and for good reason, as another chance. Oh, that's a huge save for Los Monstros, as it will be kept up by Leopard. 2-go for Nyx Dominion, but it's a long touch. Los Monstros is up for it, looking for one more. He won't need it. Nicknamed the Monsters in Spanish. Los Monstros with a fake, and it's Gio's goal, but Nyx Dominion's lead.
Man, that momentum now has been stifled by Nyx Dominion, answering back finally after dropping 3 straight goals to Starlight, taking the lead back. 33 seconds on the board. Can they keep their lead? Is this going to squeeze in? No, it gets cleared away. And now Monstrous again with a big clear. CJ trying to keep this up. Leopard is there for the touch. Going to waterfall down. Horizon. Oh my goodness. This game is just heated up continuously since about the 3-minute mark.
Yeah, it is. These teams have definitely taken pieces out of each other, and they're definitely not letting up that offense either. This is quite impressive to see. Tied at 4 each with 19 seconds. Overtime is looming here, but CJ wanting to win that challenge, he'll do just that. Here goes Leopard. He can score from here, but Los Monstros will be up to it first. Trickster will keep it out. Gio maybe one last chance, but the redirect goes nowhere as CJ with a full tank of boost. No second touch needed as Leopard off the bar and in. Starlights have taken the lead. Is this it?
Wow. Just keeping enough gas in the tank. Does not let off. 2 seconds to go. Sealing this, all but sealing the victory for game number 1. This is the momentum they needed to start off with.
And it will be game 1 for Starlight. 5-4 your scoreline, but my goodness, that had a lot of turns in it, and I love this aggression that we're seeing. I mean, Starlight, we said it, they needed to bring aggression, they needed to bring offense. That is probably one of the best showings I've seen from them in a very long time. It's the Starlight team where everything's clicking, where everybody's playing on a consistent playstyle, and it's the aggression as well that's showing up for them. They needed it, and they've shown it, and it works against teams like Nyx Dominion, who themselves have not exactly been quite organized on defense. Starlight, if they continue to play aggressive, they'll continue to break through Nyx Dominion.
100%, man. And I almost feel like a different team showed up, like I said, after about that 3-minute mark. I mean, Dominion comes out scoring 2 goals. The first one quickly, second one not very difficult to achieve, and they fired back, man, and they stayed right on their heels the whole rest of the game and sealing that victory right at the last second. Fantastic start to this series.
Yes, we're going to be going into game 2 shortly here. Starlights, reminder, need to win both their matches at the end of the season, realistically, to make it that top 12, so for Starlight, every win matters at this point. Game differential also matters. Reminder, for them, even if they do make it, there's a good chance that it's going to be coming from a tiebreaker. If they make it or not, right now their game differential is -7. They're going to need some pretty impressive wins. Not just any wins, but impressive wins if they're going to make it into that top 12. So this is a great start for them against Nyx Dominion. They need to keep this up. They need to keep this going because it's not over just yet.
Yes, it is. There's still plenty of Rocket League to play, not just in the game, but the series. It's a long way to go. A lot of things can happen that can throw them off of that game. They need to keep their foot on the gas wisely, though, not overcommitting. We'll see how they put some plays together as Montrose gets this cleared out to midfield. Back in the corner, but Horizon trying to get it past one striker, gets it up, but Gio is on the backboard now. Nothing happening here.
Oh, what a touch!
My.
Well, that's gonna find its way in. Trickster just sentless one on that. Leopard. Oh, he pushed out far too high there. I think was expecting that to be a better clear from CJ, but simply put, if you're Leopard in that position, you're the last one back. The one thing that coaches always tell you to do there is not to overcommit and push up, and Leopard did just that. That's a rookie mistake for usually a quite consistent player. on that defensive side in his positioning. That's a huge mistake, and one that Nyx Dominion will not let him get away with.
Great bump there. Oh my goodness. This pass to the bump, you were talking about it earlier. Gio just being a beast with the physical gameplay, clearing out CJ, and Monstrous is able to easily get that shot.
Nyx Dominion, another game where they get 2 goals straight early on, so another early 2-0 lead for Nyx Dominion. I think we've been here before, Rilla, but Trickter, he's going to look to make it 3 here. They could not get that first straight goal as Trickter tried to take one under Leopard, but Horizon will have this one. Starlights will take it to the other corner as Los Monstruos. Leopard back into the play, trying to get one more touch, but Gio will have it. Flicked over 1. Trickter doesn't get the net there, and so it's room for Starlight to play that attack, to go as Leopard and Horizon are both upfield, as is CJ. Starlight, infield play. CJ will get another touch on it, but it's won by Los Monstros. Gio's already up for this one. It's sent to the back wall. Leopard will make that touch, so he'll try to flip the field. Horizon to the back corner, and Starlight again trying to send one to offense, but they have not had possession in a while here, and they aren't going to get it easily as Nyx Dominion continuing to win these challenges, continuing to win the midfield, and continuing to prevent Starlight any opportunities on the other side of the field.
Yeah, and Leopard just a couple of misses here. Leopard missing that touch, and just a little bit of control is what they need here. They've kind of lost control of the ball, and so their aggression has faded a little bit. Now Trickster trying to carry this down, taking a good 50. Monsters with a shot. Horizon's going to be there, but Leopard takes that save instead. But again, with the aggression, Gio keeping that ball on pressure, trying to get it centered. Can't quite get the play put together. And, you know, Nyx Dominion is just kind of waiting at midfield, trying to keep this ball on the blue side of the pitch, trying to keep all of the pressure on Starlight. Now they finally get a little bit...
Oh my goodness!
What a dunk! Wow!
I mean, you said it before, Leopard. He's the kind of player that has mechanics, and I mean, he's never one to give up on a play like that. So a big dunk off the back wall, that is something I think I've seen from Leopard a couple times already in his pretty long career. So he's done a lot of crazy things. That's something that he loves to do, but he'll get back, as that's a huge giveaway touch. Ooh, he just kept out Los Monstros. Leopard nearly gave up one to Nyx Dominion, but they'll go the other way as CJ with Leopard. Team pinch. Oh, it's absolutely magnificent.
Yeah, what a play here. Fantastic pass. Following this over, and Leopard with all the faith, just going in 81 miles an hour. Great score. And you know what? You said this early. We've seen this before. 0-2, now tied 2-2, almost at the exact same time in the match as well. We'll see how the rest of this game plays out.
Horizon. Starlight looking to take the lead now as Nyx Dominion has been sufficiently silenced as Gio. Leopard. Trickter, I think he's actually stopped moving. Trickter may have disconnected, so Starlight are now going to play 3-on-2, and this is a huge advantage for them as Nyx Dominion need to hope that Trickter can reconnect here as, yeah, he has lost connection. So now, with 2 players left back, they have to play defensively as Leopard to CJ. He'll go for the challenge, still in front of the net. Los Monstros waits for it, but Horizon takes the challenge. Off the corner is Horizon. CJ to fake the play. Gio will be there, but still not easily kept out as Starlight hold possession again. Leopard straight on, saved by Los Monstros. And Nyx Dominion will look to send it away as Horizon to the back wall. Gio is ready. At this point for Nyx Dominion, just playing for survival on defense as they wait to see if their teammate can reconnect to the lobby.
Yeah, man, they did a heck of a job weathering that storm. The pressure by Starlight right there, they really tried to capitalize on that as much as possible, and they did a great job keeping the pressure on. But Nyx Dominion's defense was fantastic in that scenario. Now they're even looking to try to see if they can put together a play and score with a man short. And here we go down to midfield, and Gio trying to continue the ball, losing control, keeping some defense. Starlight on some defense. And the shot is there. Leopard for the save.
Yeah, it is, and it's going to be very tough to beat Starlight. They've got 3 players. Nyx Dominion only have 2. And the thing is, Nyx Dominion cannot overcommit. If they give up a goal, they may not have a chance back in this one. They can't give up anything as Leopard. Long touch, Horizon. Starlight playing the slow game here, but they do only have less than a minute to go as Leopard to the corner. Los Monstros taken out by CJ. As Leopard will go to his own end of the field. Starlight, reminder, they can win this game. They go up to match points in this best of 5. As Horizon doesn't have a touch. It has Lepid, though! That's off the post and in! Nyx Dominion, we're playing defense for almost 3 minutes. I'd say it at this point, I think. Sorry, almost 2 minutes straight, and it was gonna fall apart at some point. It just so happened to be off a demo.
I mean, and that was not the first demo, right? So they're 3-on-2. I think they got at least three demos there, playing 3-on-1, and the defense again by Nyx Dominion, holding that just one goal in 2 minutes is pretty amazing. Now they're looking to see if they can make this up. Monster trying to do a carry across arena, can't quite get the last touch for the shot. Geo on the ball, doing a fake, trying to get a shot in there, can't quite get it. Lepid's going to be able to get this cleared out, taking the pressure off once again, and this will be the end of game number 2.
Will be, and that means now Starlight have a 2-0 series lead. So for Nyx Dominion, once again, losing to a Starlight's comeback. This one, though, felt a little bit more out of control without with their third player disconnecting. So unfortunately for them, Trickter has disconnected. We'll see if they have Trickter. I know they have DC Stall available tonight, so they might go with DC Stall for their next match. But whatever it is, that ends game 2. And for Starlight, only one away from winning this series. What would only be their second win of the season, but an important one nonetheless because they desperately need wins at this point in the season.
Yeah, absolutely. And what a time to pull things together and really having a little bit of luck on their side, right, with that disconnection. But here they are, man, 2 games up, match point, and we'll see if they've got a sub. They do have a sub in, so they'll be able to continue playing. I didn't know if they're going to try to take a timeout or what, but looks like we're going to be watching game number 3, match point for Starlight. Lepid, look at the points by this guy. You know, as you said, he is inconsistent. Tonight, this guy seems like he's just on fire.
Yeah, they needed Lepid. More than anything, they needed Lepid tonight because this is an important match for them to keep their season and their hopes alive here against Nyx Dominion. Remind you, Nyx Dominion, they're not as if they're not. They got something to play for as well. They're right now on the edge of top 12. They're inside the top 12, but they don't have a very easy position right now. There's so many teams below them that are trying to fight for the spot. So for Nyx Dominion, a loss here could be devastating to their season. As well, we're gonna go into game 3 here. Starlight now playing against the Nyx Dominion team with a new third player in DC Stalls. So they've made the substitution here. Starlight only one away from winning this series. What would be their most important win this season so far?
Yeah, I do find a little bit of irony in the guy's name being DC Stall, and their the third player just DC'd from the game. We'll see if that's a good omen or a bad omen. As Geo now pushing it down and getting it around some defenders. CJ able to get it back to midfield, but Monstrous right on top of that ball. Still no play really coming together. Lepid slowing things down. 50 gets to the midfield horizon, popping it up, trying to get around again, and it's still kept on the blue side of the pitch. Pressure on Starlight. Geo now around, passing! Almost an own goal by Horizon. Wow.
Yeah, my goodness, Horizon's going to be... he might need to... I don't know who it is that's famous for kissing the post, but he might want to go and do that after the end of this game if Starlight does end up winning it here, because that may have just saved their game here as Horizon keep things away. Look at this from CJ. He has taken down DC Stall, but he will get there in time. Lepid to go for this. Los Monstros can't take it. DC Stall will jump in. And a 2v1 chance will go asking for Starlight as Nyx Dominion will keep possession. Now with 3 players, they can play more aggressively, but Horizon and Starlight, they've gone down 2 goals in each of the last 2 games so far. I think you can tell Starlight doesn't really want that to happen again. They can come back, but they don't really want to do that because comebacks are difficult, and it's very difficult to do it over and over again. Very tough to do it, very exhausting for sure. But more than anything, they'd love to score first this game. Really stick to Nyx Dominion that they are the better team tonight. As CJ, but reset! Oh, that went under the last defender! What happened to Nyx Dominion? Starlight take the lead.
My goodness, I don't know if this was a fake or an accident, but man, Monstrous just did not expect that soft little touch. It goes right underneath them. You're right, Starlight getting on the board first. They carry the momentum into this game, and now they start with the momentum in this game. But not a great position if you're Nyx Dominion.
Their series rests on the line here, and they need goals. They need them soon. As Los Monstros pass 2, it's a free shot for Gio. Oh, that's gone off his own teammate, and it will end up staying in Nyx Dominion possession. But they need to recreate more. 3 players, everybody up right now as DC stalls on hit the near post. CJ will be ready for it. And he will stay with DC Stall. Leopard with a heavy touch. I don't think he wanted that much power on it. Horizon will be up first. And Starlight will look for the clear away as CJ. Oh, he's overcommit here. That net's open as DC Stall not able to put it on as Horizon. Back to Leopard. Starlight gets a great job on defense. They were out of position, but I love that use of chemistry. Leopard and Horizon on the same page. And, I mean, they knew exactly what they were doing immediately. You saw Leopard race down the field. Horizon knew exactly what he was doing. And Starlight just on the same page to get out of a very sticky situation.
Yeah, it was great positioning, or great rotations, I should say. The positioning wasn't great, but they rotated perfectly for that save. Kept the goal out, still maintaining the lead, still fending off Nyx Dominion for the time being, taking a demo, another one by Geo. Monstrous trying to keep this ball. Pressure on the blue side of the pitch. Horizon handling it well in the corner. DC Stall passing it almost to Starlight there. Now DC Stall off the backboard looking for another touchdown. Can't quite get it with 0 boost. And we're back here going towards midfield. Horizon to Leopard. Leopard off the wall. Trying to carry. Can't do it. Getting shut down by 2 defenders.
Well, one of those players was CJ, and so I don't think he was intending to try to slow Leopard down in any way, but Starlight still have some offense here, but they have not had a lot of possession this game. It has really been Nyx Dominion running laps around Starlight, but unfortunately, Starlight's defense has been tough to beat tonight as DC Stall will keep out that chance. Nyx Dominion chasing at this point as Leopard not able to get that first challenge. A lot of room given here as 2 go for Nyx Dominion. They can't score on this play as it's a whiff off the back wall, but it will be CJ. DC Stall takes it, but Starlight again holding down that possession. Well, not holding down possession, but holding down that defense. I mean, they're playing a very, very compact play. They're all sitting around that net. No one's really trying to play up too high at this point for Starlight. And with a minute to go, all they need to do is keep Nyx Dominion out for a couple more plays, and this series will be theirs.
Yeah, it's really, I mean, right now we're kind of at a bit of a standstill, not standstill, but just a stalemate in terms of plays getting put together. Not a lot of shots taking place lately, just a lot of back and forth. Both teams handling the forward momentum very well from their opponents. This is going to be dangerous. Monstrous with a bad touch. Or it was a pass, excuse me. Great pass. And man, just set up some chaos in front of the net. He circles back around, able to get this shot. And the game is tied. Here, man, this is like the 4th tie of this series. Crazy.
It has been, and Starlight, I mean, they're asking for a lot to hold a 1-goal lead for that long in this game. They nearly did it too, but with half a minute to go now, they've got to find another. As for Nyx Dominion, their series rests on winning this game, on completing a reverse sweep, so the pressure's on them as CJ dunks out Geo. Leopard has space, one to beat. It's Los Monstros, who won't need to worry. That touch went nowhere. And now he'll go the other way with Geo in support. Los Monstros flicks it off the bar in front of the nets. Leopard clears it away. DC Stall tracks back. We'll look for maybe one last chance. Horizon's not going to give him the light of day. And it will be Starlight to clear this one out and to let it hit the floor. Nyx Dominion had to block that last one, but we do go to overtime. And for Starlight, they can win the series with 1 more goal. For Nyx Dominion, they can start the reverse sweep with 1 themselves.
Man, this is the perfect way to go right now with an overtime. Everyone's on the edge of their seats. I know I am for sure, as this just pressure, the offense and the defense, both these teams just back and forth, fighting like crazy. The physical gameplay is just escalating as well. Lots of bumps still coming in off the backboard. Monster's not able to get that second touch, but he is going to try to pass this out of the corner with a little bit of a late flip. Can't quite make contact with his teammate for the shot. And now we're back with Starlight on offense. This ball's bouncing up out of the backboard, but nobody goes for it from Starlight. Monster's able to get this cleared out and back on offense from DC. Oh my goodness. Expected DC to take a shot, couldn't quite get there.
Couldn't, but man, Starlight just continuing to fall back to that passivity that they had earlier in this game. That's the one thing we said they can't do, is fall into passivity, because that's what Nyx Dominion wants them to be. As Los Monstros flip reset to Geo, but it will be stopped by CJ. And Leopard, he doesn't have boost here. DC Stall, that's a great touch in midfield, but CJ gets to it. We'll get another, and we'll send that ball away. Gives his team some time, and he actually gives them some offense. Infield, Nyx Dominion to go. CJ Stopped by Geo, and without any boost, he'll be forced to go back. Starlight, that's a bad touch from Horizon. Another poor play, and now a whiff from Leopard. Man, Starlight, all that offense is falling away for them, and they gotta get this ball out. Leopard just passed it to Geo. Starlight are falling apart at the seams here, and you just think with a matter of time, Nyx Dominion are going to find an open net sooner rather than later.
Yeah, just so much pressure. And man, here we are coming up on the 2-minute mark of this overtime. Just both teams fighting like crazy. A little bit of worrisome gameplay on defense by Starlight, but they seem to have recollected themselves. Now we've got Nyx Dominion on offense. Monster is taking a demo, taking all the pressure off right there. Horizon wisely not touching that ball. Leopard's able to get that pushed out. CJ following, looking to get a pass here. Can he get something off the backboard to a teammate? He does. The shot gets deflected away. Man. Here we go.
It's still scoreless in this overtime. No teams giving up anything just yet here as Los Monstros, Geo, and for Nyx Dominion trying to find something creative. They don't need it. That's just gone in. DC Stall will take the game free for Nyx Dominion. And Horizon stopped moving. I don't know why he just stopped moving in the nets. He absolutely could have made that save had he gone for it.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised that that shot just went uncontested. Honestly, I mean, you had CJ dropping from this thing, it just landed. He was neutralized, and Leopard was in the corner fighting right before that. So I have no idea why Horizon just sat there. That's either controller issue or I don't know, man. Wild.
I mean, knowing Horizon, he's not the one to have controller issues. I think he actually gave up on that play, and for Starlight, to be fair, I can't blame them. That was an exhausting game 3 for them. They really couldn't win that game with the way that they were playing. Too passive, too far back, and as they usually have with this team, as I said before, they play too passively at times, and it absolutely caught them there in game 3. They didn't play aggressive. They didn't keep that aggression, that's for sure. And Nyx Dominion took them down with it as... Thank you for the raid, by the way, Alyssa B. Thank you so much. Hopefully your night was well. What were you streaming, my friend? I hope it was... I know you stream a lot of Rocket League. What'd you have? You had some good Rocket League action? I hope you did, because we got Rocket League Splash Series here, and Starlight could have won this series in a sweep, went to overtime, but played too passively. Going into Game 4, they need to go back to that aggression. We saw them play passive in Game 3, and I said it before, Rilla, it doesn't work against Nyx Dominion. It doesn't work against these teams. They can't rely on passivity to win these matches.
Yeah, you know, being passive is it's such an odd strategy because you have to play very intelligently when you're passive, right? And you have to anticipate every maneuver your opponents are making. It's really hard, I think, mentally to maintain a passive posture in this game. So you're absolutely correct. I think, you know, they need to get back into their aggressive gameplay, and if they can't continue being aggressive, I think they're going to have a hard time closing the series out.
Nyx Dominion, another interesting pass there from Geo, but quickly cleared away, and for Starlight, they got the first goal last game. So far, the team to score first has not won their game. As Starlight jumps in, will be CJ. Leopard, that's gone wide of the net here as Horizon. Through his own teammates as well. He really didn't have much of an option there as CJ, sidewall, still not much made here as Nyx Dominion just are not jumping in. They're staying back. They're waiting. Starlight, with a lot of heavy touches, aren't really playing one-on-one with Nyx Dominion at this point. And Nyx Dominion, they're just waiting to win those challenges, to take the play away, and for Starlight to run out of boost. But Starlight have possession. They didn't have a lot of it last game, and if they can hold on to this one with the way Nyx Dominion's playing, Starlight could potentially just keep them back for a while as those Monstros will not give them that chance. He has been amazing so far this series, and I mean, Nyx Dominion, they're going to need to rely on more from Los Monstros if they're going to keep winning this series.
This ball's a little bit dangerous here, getting around the defenders. Oh my gosh, just a bad positioning by Horizon. I saw this ball get past him. DC Stall got it around him. He went for a touch off the backboard and ended up passing it in front of the net. Kind of inadvertently, a bit of a panic play, it seemed like to me, and that cost him a goal here early, at only 1:07 into this game.
And for Nyx Dominion, a third game this series where they start out with the early lead as DC Stall. And for Starlight, is this the start of the turnaround here? This is not a team that I think is known to be emotional, but I've seen them before struggle to come back when they lose a game. And I mean, generally that happens a lot in sweeps, but definitely a team that has their issues with reverse sweeps as well. As an infield play, Horizon! Well, they aren't struggling here. That's a great pass, great effort from Horizon and CJ, and the duo that's been together for a very long time continues to make things work as CJ got rid of Los Monstros, and if there's anyone that Starlight's going to be worried about, it is going to be Los Monstros.
Yeah, that was a very wise pass. You could see the defender on the backboard, just a soft touch into the backboard, right out to his teammate. And man, I was starting to think here, Sporty, that they lost that last game. They scored first in the last game, and here they're scoring again. This game, the first two games, they did not score first, and maybe that's what they need. It's a kick in the pants, so to speak, to get these guys fired up, because here they are now taking the lead 2-1. Just shy of 2 minutes into game 5 or 4, excuse me.
Well, this time not being 2 goals down early, but only 1 goal down, and they have made the initial comeback. But Los Monstros would like a word with them as Horizon, stopped by Geo. DC Stall will hang on to this one as Leopard. Oh, he's just whiffed off the ceiling here, and his teammates weren't exactly initially ready for that one, but that was CJ, and now he's got a dribble. CJ's got mechanics, he can make things happen here, but Los Monstros playing a very smart position, and now he can shoot. Leopard will not get back in time, and the ball will find the net. Los Monstros, the Monsters, has done it again.
Oh man, this demo by Geo just deleting the third man, totally catching Starlight off guard. They had no defense, absolutely no defense, and Leopard spawning in, able to get to the net, but he did not anticipate that shot being off. So the fact that that shot was off was what made that play happen, or made that goal happen, because Leopard ended up hitting the post and killing his car, man, and not able to get the save on that reshot and the rebound.
This from Los Monstros, back pass to Gio, trying to do anything he can to really be the offense here. It was Gio who was leading the offense early in this series, but over time you've seen Los Monstros really take over for Nyx Dominion. But CJ, here's his chance. That's a beautiful play, but Gio doing just enough. He didn't give up on the play, and well, he will make sure that Horizon doesn't take that chance. So, kind of a great reaction from Gio. Good job realizing that he has to be the one to go for that, and good job at making sure he makes that save happen.
Yeah, and here we go with the pressure again. Now Monstrous with the demo. Gio with this high ball. Cross getting redirected. What a save by Horizon. I cannot believe he made that save right in the corner. Hard to reach. And Monstrous looking for a pass out from center. Can't quite make contact with his teammate. DC looking for another pass high.
Oh.
And this deletion in front of the net. Not capitalized again, just missing. And the pressure by Nyx Dominion is increasing these guys physically. Possession on the ball, all aspects. How long can Starlight last?
Yeah, that's the question right now for Starlight. They're just trying to get some offense again. This game's tied, and they know they can win this series here. But Nyx Dominion, DC Stall, that's right on targets, but it will be kept wide by CJ. Now Los Monstros, the name they don't want to hear because he has been an animal tonight as Horizon. Leopard to CJ. That's going to be kept up. Leopard again. Horizon's waiting back. It will be CJ who will let him go. As Starlight hold off and 60 seconds left in Game 4. Tied at 2 goals. Nyx Dominion took the early lead. Now they look to take the one late. It's a chance. It's Los Monstros again. From the sidewall to the goal. The Monsters has done it again. Gets by everyone. And Nyx Dominion just letting him lead.
Yeah, what a dunk in your face. Put this on net. I'm gonna float my car perpendicular to the ball so you cannot save this. That's actually one of my favorite things to do, and one of my favorite ways to score is just completely dunking the defender in net. And it's not quite disrespectful, but a little bit demoralizing.
Well, it's going to be more demoralizing with the fact that there's so little time left here for Starlight. They came back in this game early on, but have not scored a lot since, and Nyx Dominion is, you said, increasing the pressure. Los Monstros waiting, beckoning for a challenge. Horizon will give it to him. He'll flip reset that one away. Leopard to the back corner. Starlight still on their own half of the field. DC Star wins this one. Double tap waiting, but he can't take it. Los Monstros will force them to block. Now it's in front of the nets as Starlight need this one out. Leopard, maybe one last chance here. DC Stall won't have a perfect touch, but it will be good enough to beat Horizon. Nyx Dominion have taken this series to Game 5.
Wow, just a great comeback gameplay. After Game 2, Player 3 disconnects. They play down a man for half the game. Hang on, they do drop 2 goals, but not until the end. And their third player sub comes in, and these guys now have taken the next two games. I mean, it's a story you almost can't write.
Well, we're watching it, that's for sure. So somebody saw this one coming. I think on Nyx Dominion, you said it, had a terrible start. Game 2 was about as bad as it could have been for them. They had no chance of winning that one, but since then they have really taken the fight. Starlight didn't play very well in Game 3, but in Game 4 they played more like what we expected of Starlight, and even then, Nyx Dominion, they've just played better in this game. And for Starlight, you can tell the rotations are starting to fracture. They're staying a lot further from each other. They're going a lot of these players on the Starlight are all going back for boosts. They're going to their own back corners, meaning they're giving up a lot of space in that midfield. And well, you can tell Los Monstros and Gio, when this team needs goals, they both are able to make solo plays, and they do it from the midfield where there is that open room. So Starlight need to cut down the midfield, not only for their own offensive chances, but also to prevent Nyx Dominion from making their own.
Yeah, definitely. They need to settle back in and get back into the rotations. I did see at the end of that last game, all three Starlight players basically sitting on top of one another. And I threw my hands up in the air like, what the heck's going on here? Because that's something that people do down in my rank in champs. That's a champ level, champ 1. And these guys up here in the Grand Champs level should not be making that mistake whatsoever.
Well, for Starlight, I think a lot of it comes down to that pressure. Having lost Game 3, they've really not been able to pull themselves together. They realize, I think Game 3 really told them that they are a lot more mortal in this series, and that's not...
Yeah, great save there, man. A lot of pressure and coming in and neutralizing that offensive shot. Lepid with the save. Gio still applying the pressure with this redirect, almost down and in. Lepid flicking this away. Still a dangerous ball high above center. And Monstrous continuing the pressure here, looking to get it around, trying to pass. Little deflection by the defender. Throws that play off, but Gio again keeping the ball in play until they finally cleared away. Horizon now looking to see, can he get an offensive play put together? Lepid trying to keep control of this ball, not able to do it. They lose possession here at midfield, and they're back on defense. Gio with the shot. Horizon barely getting that save. That ball was half in. Wow. Yeah, they're definitely having fun now that they've won a couple of games, right? Even though they still are at match point, they dropped the series, but they've gotten some confidence back, which is always good, and definitely makes things fun. But now looking for the shot, getting deflected away by Monstrous. This ball high now over midfield. Monstrous looking. Is he going to get a ceiling pinch? No. Continues to carry. Losing boost. Getting the 50. Trying to dunk this in. Not quite able to do that. Now cleared away by CJ over the defender. Monstrous is there. Lepid answers back. Trying to get a dunk on DC Stalls. Not quite able to do that. We're back out to the corner. DC Stalls low on boost. Trying to slow the ball down. Let his teammates collect themselves.
All right, am I back?
Yes.
Can you hear me? Great. I disconnected there for like a long time. I didn't even realize, but at least I'm back now. So, Game 5 continues, and well, it's 2 minutes to go here. What does Starlight need to do here, Rilla, to come back in this one?
Man, they need to. Their rotations are a little bit better. I mean, they've dropped a goal, but I'll tell you what, they need to find their way back to that aggressive gameplay from Game 1 and Game 2. Mainly Game 1. The second half of Game 1 was absolutely lights out. Aggressive gameplay by Starlight, and they need to find a glimpse of that here.
We'll see if they can do it here, as maybe a chance in field. Horizon. CJ does challenge, but DC stall. Another play. Los Monstros. Horizon getting chased, but he'll get the block. Starlight's got to play perfect defense at this point. They have not scored a lot at the end of near the end of the series. I think they've only had 2 goals at the end of this in the last 2 games. So they haven't scored a lot. They're likely not to score a lot, meaning that defense from them have to be perfect.
They do, and not only perfect defense, but again, back to that aggressive play style. They got to be in these phases. They were more physical in that first game as well. And Gio, you talked about being physical with the bumps and demos. He definitely has been able to do that. He's been consistent with that throughout this series. And this shot from DC Stalls coming almost straight down in front of the net was an amazing shot. Holy cow!
Great shot from DC Stall. That's a tough angle. I mean, it looks deceptively easy, but it really isn't that easy to score. And that's a big goal, and a big moment too, with minutes to go. Starlight reset their whole season. It seems to rest on this one series. And, man, it looked so easy for them at the very beginning. 2 games straight, but now 1 minute to go, and they're down by 2 goals in Game 5. If they don't score soon, they will not see a chance to win the match tonight, and they'll be going to Week 7 with likely out of the tournament.
Yeah, and we're starting to see some fireworks there. 3 demos back to back. And now another goal by Gio here, and all but securing the victory of this game. 3 goals down with 41 seconds. It's going to be very hard to overcome for Starlight. And I don't know if these demos are starting to tilt these guys or what's going on, but they, as you've said, I think in the last game, they've really been falling apart and not have been able to pick themselves back up.
Starlight fell under the pressure. The nerves got to them. The nerves really got to Lepet, I think, specifically on this roster. He played so well. He played amazingly in the first 2 games, and we were saying it. He was playing consistently well. But after Game 2, when the pressure started to mount, as I said it before, Lepet has a history of not playing well when the pressure is on. And unfortunately, I think tonight stays the same as normal. He just got quiet, kind of fell away from the series, and for Nyx Dominion, their players have played. DC Stall, Gio, and Los Monstros have come up strong with 3 wins straight to complete the reverse sweep. Starlights have lost another week here. I think this makes it at least 3 weeks in a row that they've lost. This has not been a great night for Starlight because, I mean, it was so close to them and yet so far away at the end of this.
Yeah, I said early on I like to root for the underdogs, and man, I was super excited for Starlight the way this series started out, and it's just unfortunate that they couldn't close down the series. But man, this was a fantastic thing to watch. I am so entertained by this series. It was fantastic. Rocket League.
Nyx Dominion on a reverse sweep here, so they stay well within that top 12 now. For Starlight, again, I think their chances of getting to the final bracket are now gone. So for Starlight, that may have just ended their season. And it's unfortunate to say because this is a roster that's played close to so many other rosters, especially in this season. They've gotten better. But simply put, this now makes it 3 weeks in a row where they just cannot get wins. Their record now drops to 1-5 for Nyx Dominion. Their record improves to 4-2 as they'll go into one last match this season to just see where they can place themselves in seeding here. So it is Nyx Dominion with a reverse sweep here. So that's huge for Nyx Dominion. Just overall for their chances. I mean, they needed every game to play well. They needed to hold themselves in the top 12. The question was if they could do it. And obviously tonight they've proven they can.
Yeah, great gameplay. They kept their composure the whole way through. I really honestly thought when their third player dropped in game 2, and they had to bring their sub in, I thought that would take a lot of the wind out of their sails, but they came back firing on all engines in game number 3 and just flipped the script, and completely just took over the series, man. It was very impressive.
Yeah, we are going to have an interview with Gio afterwards, so let's go join Gio here as well. So we'll get Gio in, we'll get interview started here with everybody involved in it. We will get... one sec. There we go. We'll get Rilla to join us hopefully in just a moment here. So while we get Rilla to hopefully join us... One sec. Alright, well, we'll get Rilla to join us here. Right now, though, Gio is joining us, so hello there, Gio. A reverse sweep here for Nyx Dominion, and you guys kind of holding in that top 12. That's a huge victory for you. How are you feeling now, Gio, with that reverse sweep and that huge victory now, on your record?
I feel great, man. We definitely needed that. It was came very close to the wire, and we were kind of on edge, but like after we won the first one, we eased up, and then after the second one, it was just like, all right, we're kind of just playing our game at this point, and we were able to run away with it.
I'll tell you what, I was just talking about how impressed I was with you guys able to keep your composure. Just that's that second game. I think a lot of teams would have just lost a lot of confidence, dropping a player, going down 3v2. I mean, you hung in there, had great defense for being a player down, but bringing your other sub in and just coming back, almost like the first two games didn't happen. It was really impressive to watch.
I appreciate it. I mean, it does suck because I think the first game, Victor was having a bit of a lag problem. So he was like just kind of slowly moving around the field. But we still managed to keep it relatively close. And then the second game, apparently all three of his screens just went dark. And I don't know what happened. He just disconnected. And I wasn't sure on the ruling of the subs, so we figured we'd play it safer and just do the 2v3, which we held on for a while, but over time it's just really tough to do a 2v3, and we weren't able to win that. But I mean, that was still a good game. Like if he was there, I feel like we could have taken it. But then yeah, thankfully we had our other player join, and we were able to throw him in, and that third, what was it, the fourth game was over an overtime, I think. That was a close one, so we had to clutch up there, and then after that one, we were able we were starting to feel it. So, but no, hats off to the other team. They played great, and yeah, I'm just glad that we were able to secure that win because we really needed it.
And you talk about that, how much you needed that win. Did you ever? I mean, you guys knew kind of I'm sure coming into this match that you guys had not secured your spot in playoffs, and even now, I don't think you still have secured your spot in playoffs. But you make it easier with the win here. Did you guys feel any? Did you feel any pressure in that series, knowing that your playoffs rely on you winning these matches at the end of your season?
Oh, definitely. I mean, I took a look at the sheet right before we joined in, and I think we were sitting in third. But looking at everyone else, like it's not a safe third. So, we're like, hey, we really need to win these last two matches. And then once we started losing in that series, we were starting to feel down, but I was able to put the trust in my guys, and Los and Trickter and DC, they were able to lock it in, and even when things get rough, I know that we'll always be able to fight back. So what we were able to do.
Now, is your physical gameplay. I mean, you made really smart plays with bumps across the goals, looking like you were coming to pass the ball, but sweeping players out from in front of the net. Um, I I mean, talk about your tactics a little bit with that. I mean, it seems like that's a huge game changer, and you never let up, right? And eventually, you saw some demos come back and some retaliation. But how does that seem to impact, I guess, all of your matches, not just tonight?
Yeah, um, if I were to like describe each person on the team, um, Los is very mechanical. Um, still learning threes, but he's very fast, very mechanical, so you can always trust him in the air. Victor is very consistent at shooting and being able to create these like um, you just create a play for like a teammate to be able to clean up. DC, really, really good player. Able to control things, kind of like he's very smart and has a lot of game sense, and like when to throw the ball away, when to keep it close, when he should be cutting. And I feel like my position in this is I'm not the most mechanical. Um, and whether I'm feeling it or not, I think what I can do is just kind of make it easier for them, which would be just kind of clearing out the field, right? It all goes against like who you're playing against, and we noticed that um, they were really good in the air, but in the ground they weren't as good. Not to bash them in any way, it's just kind of what we were noticing, and that they were double or triple commit a couple times. And so after seeing that, I knew that I can't do much myself as a solo playing. So like, let me just let them do all the work. And so I would just kind of clear the field for them, and it made it really easy. I know that from my bumps or demos, we got quite a bit of goals. Um, and then you saw, I think DC had a couple as well, which ended up like winning us a
Yeah.
game, and so yeah, anything I can do to make it easier for them, really.
Well, of course, and well, you now are in a great position. You're now 1 week away from the postseason, and at this point, you're in a very good position to make top 12 to make it to that final bracket. Thank you so much for joining us here, Gio, and congratulations on your victory here. As I think Rilla, you got a friend joining you here. someone's
Yeah, that's
Rilla's.
my son.
He's got his son in the background. Hello there. Well,
Yeah,
Gio,
but
I think Rilla's got some duties to go to here. Before you leave, though, Gio, do you have any shoutouts, any final messages to say here?
No, just thank you guys for casting. I can't wait to watch the VODs. Let me know when that's up. Shout out to the team for really putting it on us, and shout out to my guys for locking in and clutching up. So
Thank you for joining us here, Gio. Congratulations on your win for Nyx Dominion. A reverse sweep and a huge victory in your Rocket League Splash Series season. Thank you so much for joining. Have a great night.
yeah, thank you guys. You too.
Well, that will end our night here. Rilla, how are you feeling? Do you have any last words that you want to say before we're gonna get a raid out, end off our stream?
you know what? No, I'm so happy and thankful you had me co-cast with you. This was a lot of fun. I've always enjoyed watching you cast, and it's great to be a part of one of your casts myself. And looking forward to maybe the opportunity to do it again. And appreciate everybody tuning in. Hopefully, see you guys again soon.
Of course, to all of you out there, thank you so much for joining. Have a great night, and I will be live again very soon with some pretty important announcements. For now, take care.